Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tactical Chile. I'm Patricio, and with me, Charlie. How are you tonight, Charlie?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, my friend. Not too bad.
Great, great to be back.
Yes, we are back again, recording, trying to bring what we promised before everybody leave the country, and start doing the lives, which is going to be your responsibility.
Oh, well, we better get some better software to do so.
Yeah, we may change the platform. We will try to do our best to get you the tools to cover this. But tonight we have something special for everybody. Tonight we have the
Yes,
man, the myth, and the legend.
we have a
Yes,
celebrity.
a celebrity, a worldwide celebrity.
Yeah.
Um, David Gaylard. David Gaylard took the time to be with us. The massive difference on the time zone did not stop him to be here. He was very happy to be with us. But let's be honest. Let's be honest, Charlie. This was recorded yesterday. So this is a recording of a recording.
Oh, we weren't going to tell anyone that.
Dude, I even have different clothes. So people was going to realize. But
Yeah.
why we recorded this way? Because David, he has his own podcast, and he has a lot of experience, and he took us into his area, his domains, which was quite cool, actually. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I actually thought the tools and the setup that he uses was a lot more streamlined than what we've used. Uh, Resizing of the screens, that kind of stuff. It felt a bit more resilient. So yeah, we're going to take some of his advice and start testing a few different tools.
Yes,
And it just makes it easier to invite guests into the platform as well for some of what we want to do in the future and the live streaming. So
correct.
yeah, we're absolutely looking at improving our production quality.
Yes,
Um, Even though I always joke that low production is kind of our trademark,
that is, but
um,
not that low.
we'll try and do a little bit better.
Correct.
Yeah,
But yeah, we are in a minute going to bring to you David. He actually was really well quite interesting. Well, we would wrap it up at the end with a couple of reflections, but yeah, I'm very excited with this interview, and I hope that people at home enjoy the same way that we enjoy it. I think.
yeah. I mean, for our listeners, those out there that haven't um, haven't seen David's name or seen him on stream or on any battle reports or in tournaments, he is one of the top Warhammer 40k players in the world. I think he consistently finishes top five ITC in the last couple of years, and he's won multiple super majors. So, just by way of introduction, he's probably one of the most famous New Zealand players out there. Um,
Yeah.
that doesn't actually play in New Zealand.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, we managed to get a chat going with him just to find out a bit more. Hey, you're from New Zealand, but you haven't really been in the New Zealand scene that much. What's it like playing overseas? Um, Really interesting stuff. And shout out to Dave's podcast as well, 40k Fireside. Great content. Him and Vic VJ talk about the latest meta, the tournaments they go to. So check it
Yep.
out if you haven't seen the Fireside.
Yes. We invite you to all to follow. And if you did not know about David, yeah, follow him. He is a person that innovates on the list, and you will see he will talk about this. So I think no further introduction, Charlie,
Yeah,
and let's jump into
let's get
yeah,
to it.
let's go. We will see you when we are back, man.
Take it
Hello,
away, bro.
Dave. Thanks for coming on to Tactical Chili.
Tactical
How you
Chili.
doing?
Loving it, man. I love the name Tactical Chili.
Well, have Patricio to thank for that. It was his
Hey,
project, and
that's
yeah,
so
included me in it.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
yes.
Where
so
does the name Where does the name Chili come from? Because I remember you guys were mentioning Chili Con and stuff like that as well. Is that like a natural event name called that?
I think Patricio
Sorry?
lagging a bit. Where did you get the name Chili? Why is everything
Yeah,
called
yeah, yeah.
Chili?
Uh, Chile because I'm Chilean.
Oh
So
yeah.
Chile. So I wanted to have something that yeah, it makes me feel home. And fun enough, Charlie, when I told Charlie, he's like, "Oh, so you like it spicy?" No, man, I don't eat anything with it spicy. Like I'm really, really bad with that. Um, and it's just because it looks like chili. So, and Charlie was talking about, oh yeah, the ghost pepper, um the reaper, and they're so good, blah blah blah. I was like, dude, nah, nothing.
Yeah,
I eat
I love
a
my
little
pepper
bit of
sauces and chili
cayenne
sauces.
pepper, and
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, this is too hot.
I thought it was maybe like a Mexican thing, like a chili con carne or something like that.
That that may
So
be one
yeah,
of
no,
our
it's not
nicknames going forward. Yeah.
Yeah,
chili con
No,
carne. Yeah, that's
was that our doubles? That might be the doubles.
chili con carne.
Uh,
that will
yeah.
be one of our events. Chili with carne.
Well, it's really cool because
Chili con
our
carne.
events,
Yeah, that
the
will
first
be
second
one of
place.
our events.
Oh, he's lagging a bit. I was just saying our first second place trophies are rated in levels of spiciness. So
Oh, nice,
the
nice.
Carolina
Yes,
Reapers first place, Ghost Pepper second place, and um
That's awesome.
well, yeah, and then the was it the
the another
capsicum
one
is
was
like best sport.
the
Zero
yes.
spiciness, there to have fun.
Oh, that's good.
No, let's kick into it. David Gaylard, the man, the myth, the legend, one of the best New
That's
Zealand players in the world that nobody in New Zealand really knows about. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where in New Zealand are you from, and how did you get started in the hobby?
Yeah. I don't really know if I'm a legend, but yeah, there's certainly some mythology about my player skill. I don't know if it's that good. But yeah. So I mean, I grew up. Yeah, man, this is harkening me back. Yeah, so we grew up primarily in Hamilton, the Tron, Waikato.
Oh yeah,
Grew up outside of Cambridge there mostly. Because it moved around a bit, but I would say the majority of the time I spent growing up around Matangi, Tamahiti area, out in the country there. And yeah, I moved to the States when I was like 15 years old for a while. Came back, that was in San Francisco. And then we primarily have lived, yeah, just in the Waikato region, more or less. So, yeah, that's my whole backstory. Went to high school there, and yeah, that's where when I very first like started playing. I mean, yeah, started playing Warhammer is in a pretty vague term, to be honest. We
yeah.
had, I think I was 11 or 12, and no, maybe 13, and we had, science class teacher, Mr. Ward. I remember he ran like an after school kind of club sort of thing, right? And
Yeah.
and a couple of my friends had some models, and there was a rule book. I can't even remember like what edition. I think it was like third edition or something like that. And we vaguely read the rule book, and like I bought some secondhand Tyranid models off Trade Me for like I don't know some amount, and they arrived like wrapped up in the post, and it was the old Carnifex like metal model like that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
had some gene stealers, and we my friend and I, Liam Hogan, he had Space Marines previously, and then we had my dad was into model trains for a bit there, so we had an unfinished model train kind of table, and we took that over, paper mache'd it to make hills and stuff, and then we would play on this massive model terrain table.
That's
We didn't know
awesome.
any rules, and it was just it's crazy how much fun like a game like Warhammer is, even when you don't know the rules or anything, right? So we would that was I guess that was kind of the fun part, right? It was kind of a D&D. I was playing D&D back then, of course, as well,
Mm.
but it was kind of like that. We're making it up on the fly sort of thing, and um, we had some rules, stuff like that. But yeah, that was kind of the fun part of it, right? The fun part was almost that we didn't really know the rules, and he would sit up on the hills and like shoot me with the Space Marines, and I would have like some gene steals and stuff like that. And I think the tournament rule back then was like, um, it was like synapse, right? But I think if you lost morale, your units had to run towards the closest board edge or something, and
yes,
if they were
yes,
in range
Yes.
of the board edge, then you would just lose that
and
whole
we
unit.
Yes.
yes,
Sorry. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I very much doubt we were playing the actual game, but that was kind of the brooding of it. And then I didn't touch it for many, many, many years until I was probably like 27, and I moved over here. And my best man Vincent Chan, kind of he had a Demon Prince on his work table, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" He was like, "Oh, that's Warhammer," and I was like, yeah, and then it was all downhill from there, obviously. So I got back into the game, him playing, the very, very end of 8th, which is usually why I say I started playing in 9th edition, with
Yep.
his 50 drones, trip-tied against my Eternids, where he would just like sit in this corner playing kill one, kill more, whatever. I would be
Yep.
like, yeah, I'm going to charge you, do this like piling thing. And then he would just like fall back, blast my whole army. We're like, yep, I'm like, sweet, bro.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of been like a renaissance for me in a lot of ways, which is really cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't miss those days, if I'm being honest. The drones.
Yeah, the game is significantly better than what it was.
Yep.
100%. Has been ups and downs, but it is way better than was before. I still miss those weird interaction of when you lose morale, like the one that you start running and you needed to try to stop your unit to fall from the board.
Yeah.
That was bloody amazing, man. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
And we had the blast templates and all that stuff as well.
Oh,
Yes.
It was like,
Yeah.
just
I remember those.
just the dumbest thing, right? You're just like, well, it's kind of like this way. It's
Yep.
like that. Then you get your elbow or something like that. You'd be like, wow, it's in line with my elbow here. And you'd be like, okay. And then it'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna put it over. So
That's the old days when you couldn't even pre-measure, so you needed to be sure. So you declare a shooting, and then you go and measure. You are outside of 24. Well, bad luck. The unit cannot shoot.
Well, we certainly didn't know that rule. We were just like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you guys.
I was playing competitive in those editions, so that was bad moment to play, especially with the movement too. You couldn't pre-measure the movement.
Yeah.
So most of the people were like, I think that that is 6.
Yeah. What I would say is like playing on the model train set was actually really fun. It was quite like immersive. I guess it wasn't immersive in the fantasy sense, but the train wise, it was really good. Yeah.
I mean, it could be an imperial world that's stuck in the the 1950s or something, right?
Yeah. Or a classic Star Trek time travel episode. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's good.
Warp time.
Yeah.
But
it was
good.
It was good fun.
My internet apparently is better now.
Boom.
Oh, much better now. Yeah.
That's big. I'm hooked to my phone. Imagine that bad was my home internet. That's happened when you have teenagers, David. They use everything for Netflix and I don't know, playing games. Sorry. Well, I'm back now. I can help.
Cool.
What was the question that you just asked, Charlie?
Oh, just the first question. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. So, so you are based in UK. For the people that is listening and don't know you, that's why you are not sounding too much in New Zealand. But you have access to all around whole Europe. What you can tell us about the events over there and which one is your favorite in the whole continent?
Yeah. The events over here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think about it in relation to like say New Zealand events maybe. The events here are huge. So primarily I've seen it grow from a non-circuit based kind of landscape to a full circuit based 18. I think there's 15 events in the UKTC calendar. Maybe there's 16 events a year. So each of these events is like minimum 250 players. So
wow.
It's enormous to the point where, I think a while ago, I was just like, well, if it's less than like 120 players, like I'm not even going to go and play because that's a small event. So yeah, I'm not even joking. Like if it's like 150 players, I'm like, oh man, this is like a small one. So yeah, that's the size and the caliber of players is very, very high, I would say. Primarily because the same people play like all these events, right? So, like, let's say you go to a UK tournament. I think there's one, next month will be like, I don't know, the Sheffield GT or something like that. and it's a 2-day format. So there are other events in the UK as well that are not under the UKTC banner, but I'll just refer to the UKTC circuit for a while. So yeah, you'll go there, and typically, if you're a player like myself, or if you're like a player in the tournament scene, there would probably be like 2 to 3 of the very, very highest players in the UK that would go to play that. So then it would kind of be like, then there's probably like a solid 15 to 30 players that are very good players. So it does drop off a little bit high, a little bit quickly, but I would say the average pack is extremely strong compared to the rest of the world. Um, People that for example, nowadays you go to a UKTC tournament and nobody has a bad list. Every single person has got like meta list. It was reviewed, whatever, like that. Your first game, it'll be like meta list. You're like, oh yeah, I see you got this guy's like, yeah, it's like really good for this matchup and like fight first and all that stuff. And you're like, okay, yep. Yeah, like literally round one. And those players might go like 2 and 3, for example, right? So and then as the rounds go on, you'll start seeing like a ton of innovation and lists and stuff like that as well. So, I mean, as egotistic as it is to say, I would like to think the UK is quite meta leading in that sense. I'm not really sure how it feels like being outside of the UK. We obviously have a huge spotlight on us because we have, I think, the most successfully run circuit in the world, probably. It's like you just go there. These are like 2-day super majors where the final rounds are you play 4 games on the last on the Sunday, and then and that's like a cut to top 4 to play those final rounds. And you're the 2 guys playing in the back of a hall somewhere next to the bathroom, and just like 9 o'clock at night, going on to 11:30 p.m. And there's usually people watching and stuff like that. Or they'll be chatting on Discord to give me updates and stuff. So yeah, the tournament scene is really good. I mean, you couldn't really ask for much more. The guy named Zach, who runs the UKTC, has just done an absolute phenomenal job, and I think that's it's the largest factor for that. I think comes down to just the for-profit model being really successful in the UK. Right? He runs it as a business, so we're all his customers, and customer feedback's important. And so that's just seeing the events being justified for having more events, high quality, and it's just like clockwork nowadays. You just go to an event, you know exactly what to expect. You have no issue with whatsoever. You just go there and play 40k, and the competitive scene is like it's super good over here. Like every single person basically knows every person because it's the same core 150 players, 180 players that go to all these 250 player events, stuff like that. So you it's just like seeing everyone every month. So usually I wouldn't say like whatever you define as the top players, maybe the top 10 in the UK. I wouldn't say all 10 of them go to every event. Probably like out of any given event, it's probably like 3 to 4 of them. And for the very large events, they'll basically all go, and it's like an insane.
Like the super majors, LGT, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, technically, all those events are super majors, but yeah. So like LGT, the Coventry is another one where it's like the 3-day format, which is really awesome. That's a huge Shark Tank usually. LGT, obviously. Some of the other, there's usually like a smattering. It kind of depends where it falls in the calendar because obviously close to WTC, basically no one plays. So I would say those events are usually a little bit softer because basically like Manny Chima won't go play, none of the England guys go play, I don't go play, etc.
Right.
Because they're not going to play that close to WTC, for example, because they'll have boot camp weekends and stuff like that as well. It's the tournament scene's insane. If you come over and if you want to come over, just if you're traveling to the UK or you're traveling to Europe, chances are bring your Warhammer with you. There will be a tournament probably on the week that you come and play, right? So it'll be like a super major with like 200 players. It'll just be one of the normal ones that we refer to, right? So it doesn't have. You don't have to come over to play LGT. If you're coming across, just be like, hey, look at the calendar and play something. Or if you don't, there will be a tournament on that weekend. There's probably like 2 tournaments every weekend. There's probably 3 tournaments in the UK every weekend, just in general as well.
And that's just in the UK as well. That's not even going to mainland Europe.
Yeah, Europe as well. Yeah. So Europe's a lot different, right? Because Europe is the tournaments are smaller, of course, and each country definitely has its own style of running tournaments because it's a lot more like a localized TO, for example. You know, in
Right.
the
Yep.
Netherlands, you'll have like a localized TO that will probably run the biggest tournaments there. In Germany, you'll have that. In Belgium, you'll have that, for example. So that's a lot different from UK, where you've just got one business that actually runs
Yes.
a circuit of tournaments, which, as a full-time professional job, it's kind of have a much higher quality of
Yep.
things.
And standards, right? It's the same standard. You know what to expect when you show up to a UKTC tournament.
Precisely, yeah.
Standardized.
Yeah. Although I
Yeah.
would say basically everyone in the EU plays WTC, of course.
Of
So
course. Yep.
I would kind of like it. It'd be interesting to see the UKTC run WTC terrain formats. But obviously, there's a whole business side to that with logistics, owning the terrain. We're talking
Yes.
like hundreds of tables of terrain. So yeah, it's a big capital investment, and you got to store that stuff somewhere. So transitioning over to different terrain format is like
Yep.
more of a business side of logistics side of thing rather than
Yep.
it is a oh, that'd be nice to have. Yeah, but
Yeah. Right.
yeah, favorite tournament. It's really difficult. UK, obviously Europe has great tournaments, but they're primarily kind of team tournaments, I would say as well.
Yep.
I actually haven't traveled across to play many UK tournaments. EU tournaments, primarily because the UK calendar is so busy, and then you've got work life on top of that as
Yeah.
well. I did play Eurotrash Cup, which was the 8-man lineup we played in Amersfoort, which in the Netherlands, run by Ruud from Team Netherlands.
Hmm.
That's an awesome tournament, but the team was like myself, John Lennon, Jack Harpster, Myson, Typhus, Brian Sipe, just like the most disgusting.
It's just a little bit stacked.
Yeah. So I
It's
mean,
the all-star team.
yeah. You kind of define tournaments by like the social aspect of it, which is the best part about Warhammer, right?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
for me, like won tournaments and stuff like that, and like I kind of feel like I don't really have much more to prove anymore. So like a tournament for me is really cool if I can see like all my international friends.
You can say the Tactical Chilli GT in Auckland is your favorite. We don't
Tactical
mind.
Chilli GT. I mean, obviously, now that I think about it, my favorite tournament of all time is WTC, like hands down.
Yep.
That's a 10 out of 10, and nothing is in the 10 or 9 plus range, I think, realistically
Yep.
speaking. It's
Yep.
the best run tournament. It's the hardest games. It's the best atmosphere. It's the most collegial sportsmanship atmosphere of all time. Charlie, I mean, you'll know exactly right. It's the
100%
pinnacle of
agree.
Warhammer.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And like you mentioned the social aspect, and that is the one event where you see everyone.
Yeah, I don't know if
So.
were you at Bar Popular when on the last night, Charlie? When
Oh, I was. I got real tired though, and I left early.
oh man, when Team Poland walked down the alleyway through Bar Popular, and it was just 300 Warhammer players, and
Yeah.
everyone was just like shouting and cheering and
Yeah.
chanting when Team Poland walked in. It was just it's incredible, right? It's something out of
Yeah.
a sporting moment, a movie, right?
Yeah.
So there's no other game quite like Warhammer where all the top players hang out, have beers, whatever like that. At a bar in Belgium somewhere, and everyone is generally happy for each other and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean,
On a Sunday night,
on a
and
Sunday
everyone
night.
else is sleeping and closed, and there's this one bar with almost 400 people, right?
Yeah, it
The
was just
support staff,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
quite a feat. Yeah. So WTC
Yeah.
is the best. I played Warhammer World Champs. It was a good tournament. I think there's some tournament structure. I think they can improve on that. But so it'll be interesting. I don't really know if I'll go play it again this year.
Yeah.
But WTC is one I'm never missing out on for sure.
Awesome. So I guess we've touched on a couple of things as well in terms of how you kind of got into playing competitively. So when did you get into the teams format as a competitive player? Because I know
Oh,
you're part of Team Ignite and playing for Team New
yeah.
Zealand as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so my first team tournament I think I played was with my former team, Team Dice Down, which were kind of the number one team in the country, like a London-based team. And this is when the UKTC started doing 5-man team tournaments. So a lot of it comes from the UKTC circuit. Yeah, and so we played a team tournament, and the attending teams were us with Dice Down, Team Poland, and then Team England. So that was like the first tournament. And we're like, okay. I mean, looking back on it now, you're like, wow, that was kind of ridiculous. So that was the first time I played, and team tournament's really the best format of playing Warhammer 40k. Like obviously, the most of my wins. Oh, actually, that's not true. A bunch of my wins are in team tournaments too, but a bunch of my wins are in big singles events as well. So yeah, I think it's the best team tournament team format. and I would love to see it expand to like 8-man teams eventually in the UK here, which I think that undoubtedly they'll get to.
I mean,
But
you've
yeah,
got the
that's
numbers, right? That's the one thing we suffer here is if
Yeah,
we run 8-man teams, is
numbers.
we might get 5 teams, 6 teams.
right, exactly,
Um,
yeah,
I think Kraken, like Finn, Michael, and the boys are trying to push their teams event up to 8 for next year,
yeah,
and maybe get 10 teams, run it
yeah.
across 4 rounds instead of 5. Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Yeah, and
But
it's
yeah,
once again like the things that make the tournaments the best are usually the social aspect of Warhammer, and
yes,
that's where I think Warhammer becomes its best game in a lot of ways, right?
yeah.
Which is such a unique thing about the game. Yeah, so that's probably the first team tournament I attended, and then um, you know Vic and I, Brian Yockel, we kind of founded Team Ignite, and that's when we started playing a lot more higher team tournaments, winning a bunch, and yeah, it was good because we brought in a lot more higher caliber of serious players, and 8 out of our 8 players in Ignite are WTC players. So we've got 3 on Team England, Myson Team Poland, myself New Zealand, Iceland captain, Belgium captain, and I'm forgetting one person, which I'm sorry. um,
Brian, I saw he was
Oh
with
yeah, sorry, yeah, Brian from
US.
USA.
Yeah,
So everyone is absolutely stacked more or less, and that kind of shows the caliber. If we're not, we're not on seed one teams, we're probably captaining, co-captaining LC2 teams. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean we love playing team tournaments there, and it's really cool because you can just lean on a bunch of guys for doing matrix preparation, doing everything like that. And I think a lot of actually what we do in Ignite kind of does filter down to the respective teams in there as well. I know it definitely is the case for New Zealand with myself, and I think it ultimately it dribbles down to Team England and USA and stuff like that as well.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this year compared to last year, just in the prep phase, watching all the collaboration and prep work going through, all the learnings, it's
Yeah,
been a completely different experience.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you've
Yeah.
you've kind of been, I don't want to say on the sidelines because it's obviously hard for me to know exactly because I'm not based in New Zealand. But what are your thoughts on I guess if you had to put a number on last year, Charlie, out of 10, what would you say it would be kind of compared to for this year?
I think like the motivation for going is different.
Yeah.
Last year it was to put a team,
Hmm.
just find 8 people and go, right? Regardless of how well we did, it's just let's get this started. Let's put New Zealand on the map. Let's go have a great time, meet some great
Yeah.
people, and just see how we do. And having learned from that, bring some of that learning back this year. It's more, especially with Finn being a very experienced 8-man captain doing
Mm.
ANZTC for the
Mhm.
last couple of years. It's more how do we show up and just do the best we can and just achieve even better results, right? Because we
Yeah.
smashed it last year somehow,
Yeah.
just had a great time,
Yeah.
did really good for a first year country, and then this year it's all about going back and improving on that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean it was kind of like a dream story really last year, wasn't it? We just
yeah,
like,
oh,
yeah, get a team
absolutely,
together, like
yeah,
best
yeah,
overall,
Sit
15th place. Like, okay, sweet.
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's about, for myself, my focus has been on making sure that people realize how important certain roles are, like coaching. So
Yep.
I put my hand up as coach straight away as soon as I
Yep.
came back and just said, look, we need to establish a coaching practice
Hmm.
so that people do want to go. How do we build the recruiting system so that people that don't make the team, they can join as a coach, come play
Yep.
War Masters, see what it's all about, and hopefully come back the year after.
Yeah.
Just what other countries have been doing. We just needed to learn from that.
Yeah. And as soon
Yeah.
as you go once, you're just absolutely hooked as well,
Oh,
right? It's
hooked,
just
completely
it's
hooked.
just
Yeah,
like as soon as you get people there, it's gonna be like, yes, I'm
yeah,
doing it next year. Yes, yeah, which is huge. I'm obviously super proud of the fact that we even get a team across, being the furthest traveling country in the world.
yeah,
It's just absolutely insane. The fact that we've got a competitive team as well is like even cooler, obviously.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, obviously Finn's been absolutely amazing as captain as well, which is just like the greatest thing as well. So yeah, I'm the prep this year was significantly better. Obviously I see the prep from I don't see the prep, but I know what the prep is like for England and USA and other kind of teams at that level because I
Mm,
know
yeah.
everyone. I'm would we ever get there? Who knows? But it's I even know we can improve upon where we've been this year as well, and I'm sure we
Yes.
will the year after that as well, which is super exciting because I think the mental attitude of players that we've got this year is in the right competitive mindset to want to improve, do better, and compete as well, which is awesome.
Yep. Yep. Definitely a lot more focused on our
Hmm.
goals this year, and working towards. I mean, we're always going to be improving. We'll come back and we'll be learnings from this year, and we'll change on how things are done. Right. I
Hmm.
mean, we haven't even really gotten that many sponsorships yet, for example. So, people are still limited by financial situations, all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
hopefully we can unlock more opportunities for people going forward, right?
Yeah, and maybe the fundraising starts right after WTC, right? There's like tournament
Yeah,
circuits or something like that. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think that is another thing here that after last year the guys went to WTC, but most of the people that knew about that was very close, like, a small group in the community.
Mm.
Now
Ah.
the thing is going out and it's being more popular and people is talking about, so it's kind of like growing. And
Yeah.
I
So
think
what?
Charles is right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really good point actually. So what was the atmosphere like after WTC last year? Did that actually make an impact on the community? Because it's really hard for me to know these things. Like, were people like,
Oh,
oh yeah, the team was
absolutely.
like, really?
Yeah, the amount of support people were posting, reaching out. I'd walk into a shop and they say, "Hey, aren't you Charlie? Did you play in Belgium last year?" And
Yeah,
okay, I going to one of the local
Local
shops, and
celebrity.
the shop owner's been keeping track of Team New Zealand and how we
oh
did
man,
and things like that. It's completely different.
very
And
cool.
definitely, like, you'll post an event, and this is what me and Patricia have tried to start doing, is you'll post an event saying we're using WTC FAQs, WTC terrain, and people will
Yeah,
be really excited to come to give it a
nice.
go. I always put a Super L map in there, at least one every day, for people
Yeah,
to just experience that WTC type sort of table.
yeah,
And then just the teams events are kicking off, right? So Kraken have been doing great in that area. Just
nice,
they run 2 teams events a year.
awesome.
Hopefully going forward there'll be an 8-man as well as the 5-man. And
Yeah,
then people travel. It's the New Zealand Team Championships. People
Wellington
travel
is
from
Wellington
everywhere.
is
Yeah.
Wellington is
Oh yes,
doing their
Wellington.
own teams event.
nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I think
Th-
that's the best way to get to grow a
Yeah.
community as well as team events. I
Yeah.
mean, it would be so sick if New Zealand was just like, yeah, we use WTC terrain for everything or whatever like that. We
Yeah.
just become like a little mini Europe. It's only team
Yeah.
Yeah,
events,
well,
only
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
WTC terrain.
but
Yeah,
to be honest, that is something that is happening already. Most of the players, or the more competitive scene is asking for that,
yeah,
and those are the tournaments that get more people.
yeah.
So it's the reward for you to do an event with WTC Terrain is meaning that you will have, hit high numbers. And I think that is something that it's starting to be very normal in New Zealand,
Yeah.
Nice. That's really
and that
exciting.
is
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because
And
we like
yeah.
we've got probably 11 or 12 people that we have dealt with have been a part of the prep phase team. But if we could get the wider community involved and stuff like that too, that's that's the next generation of players and that will come up
Yes.
and play hopefully, right? Which is
Absolutely.
like super exciting, right? Like I know
Yeah.
from my perspective, I guess like obviously we don't really have like a community hub for WTC New Zealand or like
No, we
Warhammer New
don't.
Zealand, which I think is like
Yeah.
maybe a project after this WTC, right? Or whatever like that,
Yeah.
right? Just to
Yeah.
make sure the whole
Absolutely.
community is kind of locked in, which
That's
would
what
be
I was
awesome as
thinking as
well.
well.
Yeah,
We should open up the Discord, get everyone to join public areas, and they can
yep,
interact with the WTC
yeah,
organization effectively.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I would
that's
love to like meet people, hang out, help people out, and stuff like
yeah,
that as well.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's super exciting. I mean, it's a really exciting time for New Zealand Warhammer, right? And from when I started, I didn't really have much confidence of um, how competitive the New Zealand Warhammer landscape would be, right? Because living in New Zealand, I know that if you're into a niche hobby, it's very unlikely that there are going to be a big community for you.
yeah,
So when I grew up, I played sponsored esports, and you had to play the big games, right? You had to play Dota 2, CS, stuff like that, because otherwise it just wasn't the community for you, right? And
yeah.
there weren't the servers for you or whatever like that. So that's the thing that I loved about London. It didn't matter what you were into, there will be a competitive community for
yeah,
you here that will meet regularly, which is just because of the population size. So, it's obviously super exciting that hopefully Warhammer becomes New Zealand becomes a Southern Hemisphere stronghold like that.
We're going to beat Australia first, then
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
we'll get
claim
there.
that.
We'll
Yeah,
get there. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so you were part of Team New Zealand last year. You were on the team.
Mhm.
What kind of made you apply, and did you have any expectations
Yeah,
going into
yeah.
that?
So, I mean, yeah, there's a long story about so like after WTC, we kind of there was obviously an application for captaincy, and I was like, I definitely want to try to apply to be captain, and fortunately, unfortunately, it didn't go my way, and we have Finn as captain, but I think that's just been the best thing for the team in the long run, 100%.
Mhm.
Obviously, I was a little bit heartbroken given the amount of effort I put in last year to not get the captaincy. But in the long run, being a captain is so much more than just making sure lists are good, preparing, motivating players at the event. It's the whole prep phase, logistics, making sure that people are set up to get to WTC, etc. And I think Finn has done just an amazing job of that so far. So Finn actually called me, I think, like a day or two after the captaincy got announced, and was like, "Hey, man, obviously you were going for the captaincy too and stuff like that." He said, and he's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like, I'm super keen to work together. I think we do a great job and stuff like that." So yeah, I mean, and then I was just like, "Look, dude," I was like, yeah, I was a little bit upset about not getting it, but at the end of the day, I want to live and compete for New Zealand, and if you're selected as captain, I'll back you 100% of the way. And Finn and I have worked pretty closely together for like months leading up to WTC. I think Finn does an absolutely incredible job knowing all the players, having boot camps at his house, organizing everything and stuff like that. Not and because he knows everyone in the community as well. And then I kind of just thought, how can I best contribute? And so I bring a lot of the, I guess, practices, like the prep phase, matrixing, and then a lot of the stuff I think I bring is understanding what's happening in the European and the global meta, translating that onto our lists, connecting players with players, making sure that our lists are the right lists, making sure that we have defined roles. Everything that we would do in Ignite preparing for a big team tournament, I basically do.
Yep.
And so I kind of see myself as like the playing captain in a certain kind of way, from a technical player perspective. I imagine
Definitely from a strategy kind of,
yeah,
strategy
exactly, yeah.
perspective. And
Like I imagine I'll be doing a lot of coaching at the WTC as well, which is kind of what I did last year as well. But I also know everyone at WTC, so I know all these teams. I know basically all the players on all these teams. I know who's strong. I know who's not. So that's a huge benefit as well. So and it's just impossible for people in New Zealand to know that. So
No.
obviously we had the collaboration this year, which I pushed really hard to get us into, because I knew where our limitations as a team were, and I knew the consequences kind of groupthink and not being challenged. And so that was the biggest reason I tried to push for the collab between Iceland and Belgium, because I knew that from my perspective, I think we had a couple of players who would think in certain ways, and I knew just in my head, because I talk with the guys, in Ignite and what like that. We generally have radio silence, but I know, like, for example, they think this, and they're extremely good players, and if that clashes directly with something that our player thinks, I'm kind of like, okay, I need to like work on this, because or I might think something right, and they'll be like, well, I'm pretty sure this match is wrong or something. So yeah, that's where I bring a lot, and try to contribute the most, right? So I can't obviously be there in New Zealand doing stuff, but yeah, I'd like to think that that's been a big contributing part of why we came to the 8 list we came to. Finn and I think for like the last like 3 weeks leading up to list submission, we're chatting on the phone like almost every day, I think, and we were chatting well before that about like player selection as well, who the last couple of players were going to be, and why they were going to be picked, what roles they would have, overall team composition, roles within that, how that works with pairing simulations and stuff. This is a big reason why we swapped off Votan onto Aldari. It's a big reason why we swapped into Tyranid, like the Tyranids build, for example. I knew, for example, why this was going to be strong based on what other teams were thinking outside of a collaboration, for why we were going to pick that. So yeah, stuff like that, Finn's playing BA. Like I know players in Europe that have played a lot of BA, for example. So I would bounce this list and give them feedback and stuff like that as well. So I mean, I think that's the most I can offer. And yeah,
that's been a huge part. That's been a huge part of the prep this year. Obviously, being in New Zealand, we live in a bit of a bubble. The most exposure we get to is Australia meta. If that, it's very localized. So just opening us up to the rest of the world, I think, has been a huge contribution.
Yeah, making sure we're getting scrims right. Like that was a big thing for me as well.
Oh yes,
okay,
absolutely.
Scrimming these teams, scrimming that. We've got 2 scrims before WTC, right, which is massive. Because I kind of understand the overall prep kind of crescendo of how it works. You kind of list submission, and then most people peter off, right? But no, that's like the team part we really need to start prepping, because I know what all the other guys in my team Ignite, are doing, right? So I'm like, okay, we need to be doing that. So I constantly push for that, and making sure we're in the conversation, at a very high level, making sure for next WTC, this is how far I try and think ahead. I've already talked to teams which I think are going to be good collaboration partners
Yeah.
for next year, right? So making sure we're in the conversation, already working with their captains, people that I know personally, very good players, and seeding that so we can get a better team and better prep for next year as well, right? So yeah, wherever I can try and contribute and make
Yeah.
sure New Zealand's going to be best placed, or during the WTC, like I know all the captains, of course, so I'll be like, oh, you played against this team, like, hey, do you want to trade information? Doing simulations at night for pairings and stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of the extent I go to. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe in the team as much as possible. So wherever I can
Yeah.
help out, I'm like, yes, cool, let's do it. How can we make it happen, sort of thing. Yeah.
That's a really good point. I think that's one of the biggest changes this year is just the amount of TTS prep
Yep.
that we put in as well. Because last year there was 0 TTS prep. Like
Yeah.
most of the team
Crazy,
didn't know
right?
what TTS was, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't have any of those connections. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Except John
amazing.
T.
Like, it's not. So we actually have good players in New Zealand, but it doesn't actually matter how good you are if you don't come to the event with the right tools for the job.
Yep.
And you don't know why certain things exist, right? Like, if you
Yep.
just came to Europe and you're like, what are these people playing T-Suns and Aldari? I'm just Australia. I played them as defender with 10 Terminators. You're like, you're going to find out real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going to be like, okay, and you're going to be
Yeah.
learning lessons. You don't want to learn any lessons during the tournament, right? No, you
Yeah.
want to already know what's up. So, yeah.
And I think a lot of it is, and the scrims especially help, is building up confidence of
Yeah.
our local players as well, because we don't get the exposure to that top level kind of player
Mhm.
skill. And it's going into a game against Liam or against, the John Lennons and that yourself, of course. Just going, right, I can play a normal game. I'm not
Yeah.
freaking out. I'm not starstruck. I'm not fanboying, just like getting signatures, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
would,
Yeah.
but I'm coaching, so that doesn't matter.
I mean, the coaching's a huge role, though, right? I mean, that's a massive area which we're improving this year as well. I mean,
Yes.
you, Charlie, we're playing last year, and then you're moving into coaching. I think you did a great job last year as well. I mean, the team atmosphere last year was so awesome as well, right? I mean, we're all kind of
Yeah.
like on a
Yeah.
magical journey in some ways, right? We had we had no pressure whatsoever and no expectations, and then did so well. After that round, we drew Belgium. Almost winning there
That
was
was so
just
good. Yeah.
electric, right?
Yeah.
And you're moving to the coaching, and imagine if we didn't have a coach last year, how much the impact that has. Like, a lot. I think if you're a person in the wider community and you think, oh, coaching, that sounds like a job where you just tag along and have fun or whatever. Like, no,
Yeah, you're
coaching's
just the water boy, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
coaching is extremely important. Even
Yeah.
if you were just a water boy, sorting food, making sure players are comfortable, that's a massive contributing factor. Because the reality is, when you're playing big games and you're really pushing, it's extremely stressful on players. It may sound like, oh, you're just going there to go play Warhammer, but no, the pressure is very
Competing.
intense.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are, and any downtime you can get to just take a breather is actually really critical. It's so much more when you're playing at the WTC than just playing down your local game store or whatever like that. No, it's
Yeah.
an actual sport, quote unquote. Like, you need to have
Yeah.
the mental capacity to play the best games of Warhammer you can possibly play, and you're going to make mistakes, and how you deal with those mistakes and continue to try and playing your best is a huge part. And coaches are a huge part in alleviating kind of stress, making sure you can bounce off someone, keeping track of the game scores, finding out information, preparing the tables, getting the map packs organized. Everything like that is it's one coach is worth more than one player if you only have one coach. Like,
Yeah.
massively.
Well, that's what we found out last year. We
Yeah.
only had one coach, and Gabby
Yeah.
was massive, right?
Yeah, massive.
Contributing
Yeah.
to our success. We wouldn't have eaten lunch most days
No.
if Gabby wasn't
I certainly wouldn't have. That's for sure. Yeah, you finish the round, you find out your next period because you have half an hour to prep the matrix, get all the
Yep.
matrices in,
Yep.
do lists, and it's like, I mean,
And then set up all the tables, or
Yeah.
you get told off as well.
yeah, you may think half an hour is a long time, but it's really not. Like, it's going to take you
No.
15
Yeah,
minutes to get the spreadsheets going, get all the matrices in, dive through
Yep.
all the lists, get everyone together. People are going to be fucking wandering off and stuff like that. Like,
Yep.
it's coaches to get all the players together, right? Keep everyone organized and regimented. If a player has like a bad round, like, talk with them and stuff. So if you're a person and you're like, oh, if you're a player and you think, I don't have the skill level to reach, make the playing team, come as a coach. You're gonna have an absolute blast anyway. I mean, like, just think about this. As a coach, you get to wander around the hall if you love Warhammer 40k, and you're like, oh yeah, Sean Naden's playing Myson from Team Poland. You're like, oh, that's a pretty sick game. Like, yeah, like, there's insane games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's insane games happening literally everywhere. Like, so you're like, oh yeah, my opponent's taking a while, just wander around, like, oh yeah, it's like one of the best players in the world playing the best player in the world, like, and you can just watch the games, like, no one cares, and everyone's super nice too,
Yep.
So you're never, if you love Warhammer, you're never going to be bored for an absolute second. So I would encourage you to reach out to Charlie or whoever's the head of the coaching team, and try and be a part of that, because it's really big, yeah. And then
Absolutely.
you'll be so motivated to come play next year. Like, you'll be like, oh my god, I want to play next year. Yeah.
Yeah, you still have the chance to go to the War Master, so
Yeah,
still
I mean,
you can play Warhammer at that same time. So
yeah, which is a
it's a win-win
500 player
situation.
tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
How do you decide the faction you are taking to WTC, David? How was that process for you?
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of, so I guess, so even with a team like, say, England or USA or France or Poland, you've got people. There are limitations on what players can play. I would say, you're probably, realistically speaking, players can probably play 3 factions. 3, 4 maybe. So that's one determining factor or a constraint, right? I mean, what's the player availability, and where you fit in that? I think last year I probably wasn't on the right faction, realistically speaking, for kind of my role in the team and where I could get the biggest wins and contribute the most. So I was on, ideally, I think I would have been playing GSC or 2 Wraith Knight, 20 Wraith Guard, etc. Right? And
You
just trying
should
to
have
get
said
20s.
something, mate. Just
Yeah,
save me
no,
from
no.
painting 130 models in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's just that's reality, right? So that was actually a
Yep.
huge focus for me this year, was making sure I'm on the right faction for the right job. And so, actually, when the Balanced Data Set came out, I was testing a ton of Tyranids. Tyranids have been an army I've been a fan of for a long time. So I really wanted to play Tyranids, and I was kind of working through the range of builds, and probably about a week out, maybe no, probably 2 weeks out from the submission, we kind of knew that Dan was going to be playing Tyranids, and I was going to be playing T-Suns, or the vice versa, right? So that was kind of the boat that we were in. And as when we were testing, I was winning games and whatnot, but I just kind of felt like, look, this is not the army that, like, David, even though you're going to have a lot of fun playing this, it's not going to be the army that you're going to contribute. It's not the
Smash.
army you should be on, So, like, we need to get
Yep.
serious here. And then, so 2 weeks out from the submission, I said, look, I think it's best if I play T-Suns, which is better in the pushing role. And then I think it's better if Dan uses the build that I've kind of worked on the most for Tyranids, playing more on the defenderish take all comer role. And actually, that really suited both of our play styles more as well. So it was kind of like, my heart, I would love to play Tyranids, but I know that it just makes so much more strategic sense if I'm on this army. And then, so yeah, I started working on T-Suns. I knew that the Mule of the Vortex Beast was really aggressively costed. And my goal for WTC this year was, I wanted to come with the best faction list in the tournament. So I wanted to have the best T-Sun build in the whole tournament. And so I've always been pretty innovative with lists that I've written, whether it be Guard or Tyranids. I built both the main archetypes for those armies throughout the courses. I was the first person to win with them, and everyone copied kind of what I did after that. And so, I knew I was capable of writing the best list, and I think I've got the best list in the tournament, which is the triple Mutilith Beast, 3 Infernal Master, 3 Exalted Sorcerer on Disc, Magnus, no Araman, and then Forbidden Law, Arcane Vortex, Umbrellific Crystal. And so, yeah, I was super happy with how I landed. You kind of, if you're happy with your list, a few days after list submission, when you've seen everyone's, you're in a really, really good spot, because it's kind of like the big reveal. You kind of know everyone, and you're just like, yeah. And then, so a lot of my close friends were like, man, I think, like, you've landed on the best one here.
I listened to your Fireside episode where you and Vic sort of discussed the T-Suns list, and
Yeah.
you both kind of agreed that, no, the triple David's list, it's the best one.
Yeah, you got 19 Cabal points. You got plenty of options to play the board. The Mutilith Beasts are absolutely fantastic. You've got the core shell, but you've got the 3 Beast, which is just, I mean, the Beasts are really good, obviously, but you've got the core package around there of being at 19 Cabal with 3 Disc Sorcerers, so you can still do all your indirect, everything like that. 2 pieces of chaff. I mean, you'd like to have more, but you can't have everything really. So Yeah, super happy with it. I think T Suns are in a fantastic position. They're definitely they're the faction you want to play for sure on 4 hour time limits. I mean, it's a dream playing on 2 hour rounds. Like you can take half an hour a turn for 5 turns, which with
Yep.
an army that you can basically do anything you want is the most ideal scenario.
Yep.
So super happy to be playing on them. I'm going to soak up all those 4 hours every round, and I think it's gonna be tough to beat me on this army. I think, yeah. So super happy with
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that was post the Pariah Nexus release and the Balanced Data Slate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Exactly.
so I guess your role, you briefly looked at going to a more defender role, and then you came back going, no, stick with the attacker role. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, well, I wanted to. No, because I always wanted to be. I always am definitely going to be one of the pushers on our team.
Yeah,
But I
because
tried to
we
make that
had you as
happen.
the attacker role, yeah, from
Yeah,
day
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Right?
So I
Yeah.
tried to make that happen with Tyranids, and I was like, look, it's just I just can't justify it really.
Feels too defendy. Because it's an
Yeah, I
excellent
just couldn't.
defender role. Yeah, defender list, that one.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
You just can't push big wins. It doesn't
Yeah.
have the capability of pushing larger wins when it should be able to push the advantage, right? Whereas T
Yeah.
Suns like definitely do. Your opponents, T Suns are extremely. If your opponent makes mistakes, T Suns are one of the most punishing armies in the whole meta right now,
Yes.
and it's very
Yes.
hard to see those lines of plays unless you're quite
Yeah.
practiced against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Dan on that one in practice, and I just felt like it didn't really have a go button. It's
Yeah.
continuously good, but it just didn't have that big red button you can press.
Yeah.
Whereas T Suns will just reposition, will pop everything, and will just crack you wide open.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the beasts are fantastic for getting the game
Yeah.
started. They're really
Yeah.
hard to commit into. The spawn are exactly the same. They're just really
Yeah.
hard to estimate if you're going to kill it in one go, and if you don't, it's a
Yeah.
huge disadvantage. And
Yeah.
then whatever you go to kill the beast, obviously just dies instantly. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And you're not
and
throwing
then
away rubric units with sorcerers with characters attached to do the same
exactly
job,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and like even the sorcerers are hard to kill. The Infernal Master squads are fantastic, of course, as well. Like everything in
Yeah.
my army overwatches with minimum 2d6 flamer shots at 611 minimum. So you could say it's pretty good into Aldari,
I know.
which is a nice thing because Aldari is extremely good. So yeah,
Yes.
it's insanely good against Aldari. It's kind of good against Sisters in that matchup as well. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's difficult to see any bad matchups for really, apart
Yeah.
from maybe Dark Angels or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love reading your list because the way you sort of construct your list, and I saw this with Guard as well, you keep it super lean. You
Yeah.
trim all the fat off, and you rely more on player skill and technical ability and being able to play turns ahead to
Yep.
make the list work for you.
Yep.
That's why Vic was saying he prefers the 23 Cabal points, whereas you get away with 19. And
Yep.
I noticed when you build Guard, you never had the 24-inch orders. You always
Yeah.
just played with the 6-inch orders, and I went,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Yeah, just play good. I mean, that's like a whole
Yeah,
80
yeah,
points, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean, 80
yeah.
points is a
Just
lot of points.
just be better at movement, right? Just play
Yeah.
the movement phase properly, and then
Yeah.
it works. Yeah,
Exactly right. Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
much like I like to have an extremely methodical way of playing the game.
Yeah.
I'm one of the best players when I can grind a huge amount of reps. And
Yeah.
most people in the UK would probably say that about me. Like I'm not actually a great player when I just pick up an army and go with it. There are players that are
Mm.
naturally great like that, like Manny Chima, Vic, extremely good at just kind of vibing, quote unquote. But
Mhm.
I'm really, really powerful when I can get a huge amount of reps. I know the matchups, and every single piece, literally every unit in my army I know has to be in a certain position every single turn.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, this goes there, that goes there, that goes there, because I know I can have a rule set of like, well, this happens and this happens and this happens, and then I win.
Yeah.
Guard was like that to a large extent, right? Like
Yeah.
there were some games you just can't win. Josh Roberts' 18 race, just
God,
tried.
that was brutal.
I mean, I mean, it's just I had a really close game this last time we played, but I mean, it's just you
Yeah.
can't. This some matchups that it doesn't matter how well you play. Obviously, you can play a
Yeah.
perfect game and still lose, but
Yeah.
that's
I,
kind of
I
my
played
philosophy.
I played his list. I just picked up his list and took it to a local RTT just one day. RTT just
Yeah.
was like, didn't drop a single point.
Didn't drop a single one. Yeah. They were quite frustrating to play against.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were obnoxious. As an elder player, I can tell you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why even bother playing?
Yeah.
So
How to play.
what do you think of the pod we're in with Austria, Israel, and Mexico?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best draws we could have gotten. I think as a seed 4 team, it's a lot different from a seed 3 team, and as it's different if you're what seeding you want, what you have. It actually you want very different things. As a seed 4 team, it doesn't really matter what seed 1 team you get. You're probably going to get crushed, but it really matters what seed 3 and seed 2 you get. Now, as a seed 3 team, you really want to get an easy seed 2 team, obviously, and you're going to probably beat the seed 4 team regardless, and probably lose the seed 1. As a seed 2 team, it's the exact same, right? As a seed 2 team, I think the only thing you want is the beatable seed 1 team. And
Yes.
to be perfectly honest, Austria are a completely drawable or beatable seed 1 team. It's not England, Poland, France, USA, whatever like that, right?
Not the top 5. Yep.
Yep. So on my wish list, I had probably Netherlands, Spain, and Austria as the 3 I would love to have had in our pod, and that way we can just focus basically all of our prep on that. And we had C3 and C4 teams that are in the more comfortable range as well, I would say.
Yeah.
So we're scrimming Iceland at the moment, which is probably the best C3 team, and doing well there. And yeah, so I think there's a good possibility we can come out of the pod 2-0-1.
Yep.
Maybe 3-0 is a stretch. But
Yep.
yeah, I think you can't ask for much more than a beatable seed 1 team
Yep.
if you're a seed 2 team. And that's with no disrespect to Austria. I just mean that we're a lot closer than Austria. I think we're 10th or something, and we're 15th, right? So
Yep.
and we drew versus Belgium, who are 12th, right? Like we're definitely in
Yep.
the striking range of each other.
Yep.
We're not in the striking range of England or USA or Poland, right? Like I'm sorry, it's just not we got to be realistic, right? So if
Yep.
that would have happened, like I'm not sure, our prep would probably be a lot different, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm feeling good. I think we're us and Belgium and Canada is an unknown are the strongest seed 2 teams. I think very fair enough. And we drew Belgium last year on the high side of a win, and I think this year our prep is significantly better. And we've got a different set of players as well, with different motivations, which is I think stronger than last year as well.
Definitely. Yep.
So yeah,
Agree
I
with
think
that.
we're in for a good show. I can't wait for it. I hope that if we do have a round where we if the pod doesn't go the way we hope, I just hope that we have the resilience as a team to just move on from it and just finish on a strong note after that as well. I'd love to hit top 10 in the tournament. I think that would be my stretch goal, and top 12.
I'd say
I
it's
think would be.
realistic.
Yeah. I mean, obviously anything can happen, and your run can determine things. But I would like to
Yep.
see us not lose to any seed 2 teams at
Yep.
all. Beat every seed 3-4 team, and then draw against seed 1 team, depending on who we draw with as well, right?
Yep.
If we come out of the pod and we play, USA round 4, then okay, let's try to get the most out of it, right?
Yep.
But even in the face of adversity, I'd love to see us try and play for draws, and
Yep.
things like that, right? And I'm sure we've got
Yep.
the players that will do that as well.
Man,
The players. Sorry,
I think we'll be so happy if we came out of the pod with 3 wins and we're pairing to Poland or
Yeah.
USA or something. It would be
Yeah.
just absolutely amazing.
I mean, I would have loved to have had America in our pod, for example, right? Because I know that it
Yeah.
would be such an awesome experience for the guys
Yeah.
to play the Americans or the English or Poland or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I know it would just be such a fun round as well, right? So
Yeah.
that's a big part of Warhammer for me as well.
Yeah.
So,
I think it helped last year that we hit Australia first, because then
Yeah.
we knew what hard was like, and we
Yeah.
learned so much in that first round. Like
Yeah.
Charles, for example, going from getting 20-0'd by Liam Hackett, and then going back and pulling in the work, and then doing
Yep.
training with you,
Yep.
and then at the end of the tournament, he's pulling 7-8 points away from Elder with
Yep.
Custodes at the end, and
Yeah,
which was
I
amazing,
mean,
right?
Yeah, talk about coachability. I mean, coachability is a huge part through WTC, and
Yeah.
that's where I've got a lot of experience playing at the highest levels, and that's
Yeah.
where I know, like, hey, we can work through players. And so, Charles is a great example, right? I mean, the guy had played Warhammer for like 3 months, something like that. Something like
It was his second
ridiculous, right?
tournament.
It was
WTC
his
was his
second
second
tournament.
tournament.
But he came out as a completely different player,
Yeah.
going from round 0 to round 7, right?
Yeah.
And,
I'd say the whole team was different at the end of it. It was
yeah,
a different
well, yeah,
New
of
Zealand
course.
team that came out, right?
Yeah, exactly right. So pod stage looking good. I think we're in a good position. I don't think any seed. I think the seed 1 teams probably look at us and probably think, that's a bit tough, bit of a tougher seed 2 game. And I think the lists that we've brought, I think, are just so much better than last year as well. Like
100%.
We have every single faction that we're on has a great list, which is a good start. I think we probably had that last year. We all had good lists, but as a team composition, it's significantly stronger now in terms of the factions that we are choosing in a meta, which was a lot more flatter as well. So a lot more options. And I think we came to the great conclusion. Hayden swapping off from Votan to Aldari at the end there, I think was just a fantastic call, not only for him as a player, but for the faction composition for us as well. It's really tricky to play into as well. So then we had John T kind of umming between Tau and Necrons, and I think the double monolith build Silent King, I think, was just the right choice overall. I'm super happy we've got that afterwards as well. And
Yep.
John Dee's
Really
obviously
good, man.
he's extremely good on that build as well. Like extremely good. He's
Yeah,
probably the best player in the
yeah.
hall on that build.
Yeah.
There's a lot of monoliths actually. So I would put John D up against any Necron player in the world there, whether it's Gito or Valentine or something like that. The guy's extremely good,
And
and that's a tough build to play against if you don't have practice into it. And it's just so hard to know exactly how they're going to play and stuff. So yeah, I think John D's going to have a great tournament. You know, we've got Alex on World Eaters as well. He's been practicing that a lot, which is I think he's going to do really well as well. You know, Alex is
yeah,
good and flexible in terms of he can defend and attack as well. Then we've got who else is kind of spicy? We've got Michael.
Michael and Sisters.
Yeah,
That is
Michael
a
and
sweet list.
Sisters
Yeah.
been putting in a ton of
oof.
work.
Yeah.
I've never met. Obviously, I've never met most of the team again. But he seems to be putting in a lot of work and doing
Yeah.
really well. I think he's one of the players that's gotten the most out of the collaboration. Maybe he's
Yeah.
been chatting a lot, and I think the players that have engaged most in the collaboration have reaped the rewards from that as well.
So
Yeah.
to a point we brought up earlier, so all credit to Finn, but Michael is kind of the backbone of the team as well. Michael is actually the one that organizes all the
Yes.
logistics, all the
Oh.
t-shirts, dice, jackets, everything. We called him.
we-
He booked our accommodation, right? He's the camp mom. He's like the travel mom.
Oh, dude.
So Michael, shout out to Michael.
Yes, the guy's an
Yeah,
absolute
man.
legend, man. Like,
While collaborating, while scrimming, while playing, preparation. Yeah.
the guy's an
Talking
absolute
about
legend.
that, do you know? Because I want to know. Did the bloody T-shirt arrive or still not?
Yes, they have arrived. They have finally arrived. We have t-shirts.
That was the biggest preoccupation of Michael. It was actually losing his hair, I think, because of that, man. I was like really stressed.
Yeah, I think we were at the point where Michael was talking. One of us would have to fly to Brisbane to pick up the t-shirts from the warehouse and fly
Yeah,
because we
that was
weren't sure if it was going to
the
arrive.
backup plan, man. Yeah, that was the backup plan of Michael.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, yeah. I mean, like having people that can pick up roles like that, and whether it's maybe you do that thing for a living, right? Maybe that's something that you do as part of your job, like you do a lot of logistics work or something like that. Is really huge, right? And so it's awesome to have people step up and be a part of the team, right? And contribute to something greater than themselves, which is which is great because look, I'm obviously a well-known player, but I'm just one person on the team, right? So my focus is usually about how we can do the best as a team, rather than like, oh, how can I get this game or get that game or something like that. Like I'm super team orientated, and like a big part of my focus is like watching the team grow. And I mean, like going to the tournament, it's actually a large part. I usually focus on is like how can I make the players, the weaker players on the team. I don't even know who that is, but how can I help them at any point in their game, right? Like, oh, hey, whether it's like running through, like, hey, what is your strategy? What are you thinking? Like, okay, what's your positioning of your units and stuff like that? How do you think you're going to deploy? Like, trying to help that and as much as possible because it's one thing going to WTC for your first time is tough, I think, especially if you haven't played big European team tournaments. Whether it's just the nature of people that you play against, European attitudes and stuff like that, or if it's just playing at that level with that many people, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. Okay, I think I've been on here for now. We start wrapping up.
Well,
no, hello?
Sorry, no, I was going to say we have been jumped around the questions that the people wanted to know without asking David, which is really
It
good.
just came out naturally. It was great.
Yeah, which is fucking amazing. That's what I was going to say. But you need to wrap it up with your bloody question, Charlie.
Oh yeah, so I copied the contact loss guy, so I put a fun question in.
Oh yeah, sure.
So if you remember how we all went to Bestie Burgers, but you actually had like Pokeballs and stuff most of the time,
yeah,
if
the
I remember
Hawaiian
correctly.
bowl. Yeah, I had that once. Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is burgers with blue cheese, yay or nay? But I don't know if you're a big burger guy.
Am I a big burger guy, mate? Last weekend I was in Mechelen at Beastie Burgers. Come at
Well,
me, bro.
here we go. Here we go. All right.
I was there in Mechelen with Tom Adri and TJ and one of the Kill Team organizers. Because my wife had a work trip, so I was like, "Fuck it, let's go." So yeah, I had the Beastie Burger, which is great. And we let them know, yeah. And by the way, in 2 weeks' time, there are going to be about 400 players.
Excellent.
Blue cheese Yone, yeah, I don't like it by itself, but it does add a good dynamic. I think it'd be a bit overpowering. So maybe
Yeah.
if it's a chicken burger with blue cheese, not too much. But a sharp cheese on a beef oriented burger, yeah, it's good. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Man with culture, man. This is a man with
Exactly.
culture that has
Exactly.
been outside and experienced the world. See?
Yes.
Exactly. Experience the world
David.
through moldy cheese.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
we are going to have you here in New Zealand, David? When you're
Yeah, I mean,
visiting here?
yeah, my schedule just hasn't really aligned with kind of family stuff and all that. To be honest with you, I was going to try and come in May, or no, sorry, in July. But yeah, it's life stuff kind of came up and everything like that. We're going to hopefully come across before WTC next year, and when I do come across, I really would love to run kind of workshop or something like that, and make a 40K event of it as well. So that would be the
We will
huge
put
goal.
we will put you a tactical chili event for you, man. You just
Yes.
let us know.
I'll
No.
A
accept.
very
So
spicy one.
no. So part of what we need to do is we need to line up Dave's visit with NZTC, and then we pull Dave into our team.
Yeah.
So we can combat Finn pulling Morrisoli into his team. We'll be like,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah,
we've got a
see,
guest. We've got a guest star as well. Come at us.
Two
dude,
imports.
you are going to get free tactical chili merchandise, dice, mate. You
Yo.
get objective markers, T-shirt, all with the tactical chili logo.
Oh
What
man.
what? I don't think that something can be better
I
than
mean,
that, man.
that's a huge value add. I like chili as well. So. No, yeah, it sounds good. I mean, yeah, obviously it sucks that I haven't been able to come and hang out with the community there as well, which is something on my wish list for a while now. But yeah, when I do eventually make it down, we'll definitely try and organize something where it's like Wellington or Auckland or something like that. And yeah, for sure.
Or
Be
the
our
Tron.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the home
The Tron.
The
home
motherland.
city.
Home.
Yeah.
Immortal.
It's mate, it's hilarious that we've got two WTC players out of the Waikato area, out of Hamilton, that
Yep,
have never played in the Hamilton scene.
Yeah. Is there
pretty
a
much.
Hamilton scene?
John T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. John T only played TTS before we found him.
Yeah. What a beast.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well,
Awesome.
that is good.
You want to do the last bit? Show or finish up?
Yes. Well, as always, I'm the cheesy person. I really like to take the time to thank you, the people that join us. We are not the most famous people in the world. We're just two Jaffas trying to get our place in the YouTube. You are more Jaffa than me, mate.
I'm from the
I've been
South Island.
here
I don't know
only
what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. I've been here 2 years. Came from the Waikato. Hamilton is my home. Love you, Hamilton.
Another
But
one.
yes, it's my first home. I arrived there and feels like home. Sorry. But yes, I really thank you. Your time, David. I know that the time zone is quite. What time is over there, by the way?
Oh, it's only 10 in the morning actually, so it's not too bad at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. That's not that bad. Here is 10 at night, so just 24 hours. But appreciate the time you take, all the help that you have done with the Team New Zealand this year, last year, and that motivation of trying to, keep it up and make sure that New Zealand put a good performance, that the lads that are going there has the tools, and just being part of that, I think it's really great. You are actually the man, the legend, the myth for most of the people down here that follows the scene.
Crazy.
And listening from you that get there if you want to participate, go and be a coach, be part of this WTC, be part of the team in any way. That is incredible, and I think a lot of people will take that from you. So really appreciate for your time, basically. Yeah,
No
thank you.
worries. Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you so
And
much.
like what I would say is when I first started podcasting, the thing that really stuck with it was that I just really enjoyed it, right? So doesn't matter where you start, as long as you enjoy it, it'll come through and come through passionately. And obviously, you guys both love the game as well. So yeah, I'll see you, Charlie, in August in a couple of weeks, bud.
In not even in a week's time.
Oh shit!
Flying out in 5
Wow.
days. I'd be to paint my army.
Oh, better be in your army, mate. Well, if you
You
want
better
anything from
finish that,
London,
man.
just
I
let me
need,
know, of course.
Of course.
yeah,
Bring some.
I need to finish the stuff for the team. Still
Yeah.
working
Oh,
on
you
that.
wanna
By the
you
way,
wanna
if people don't know, funny story. Charlie brought me LNP from last year, so that was uh that was an absolute legendary moment. So I'm expecting some
mate?
more limited pyro, mate. I love that.
Take
Let
a
me
couple
ask the
of V.
camp mom. Let me ask the camp mom. He's got
Come
2 bags.
on.
Yeah, yeah,
Excellent.
Oh.
yeah. That sounds
Do you want
good.
Do you want to show
Oh,
Dave the
huh?
Team New Zealand boxes? Have you got one handy?
Oh,
I don't
Oh
know if
yes, I have
Dave's
one
seen
handy.
this. Yeah.
I haven't,
Give me
just
one second.
yeah, no
Give me one
worries, bro.
second.
Yeah. So Patricia is sponsoring us all dice boxes with trays,
Oh, nice.
magnetized. It's got the Team New Zealand logo. It's going to have your
Wait,
name
what?
on it.
Oh
Yeah.
man, this is sick, dude.
This is so
Yes.
Patricia runs a separate business called Carillion Factory. He does a lot of the MDF cutting, laser cutting products.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Mate, start printing that WTC terrain. Oh, that is sick, man.
Yes,
Yo.
I print a lot of WTC terrain.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So the idea of the box goes there. I put my name
Awesome.
because
Yeah, of
now I feel
course.
part of.
Yeah, you
Uh,
Yep.
should. That's awesome.
And then the box is quite cool because you have uh, you can fit all the bloody
The cards?
the deck. Yep, you comes with tokens, so you have tokens for +1 or Battle
Oh,
Shock and
oh,
stuff like that.
oh,
someone was just asking
Um,
about that. Yeah.
oh.
and then the bottom part of the tray has the uh, measure tools, fits your objective fully, and is magnetized, so you can just go
This
put the
is
stuff
sick.
there back. Yeah, go there, and that's the box.
Oh my god. Yo,
You
this
can
is
grab it from
insane,
here.
dude.
You can see it doesn't fall. And then give me 1 second, and that's the whole box for you.
Yo, that's what's up, dude. See,
Yeah.
you join Team New Zealand, shit just gets better and better. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, that's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
So
I mean,
I'm
that's actually super sick.
see you will have one of those sending with probably with Charlie or with Finn, and yeah, that's what I can do. I cut a 3D, sorry, a laser cut and 3D print
Nice.
here in my garage. It's
Yep.
not my main business, but I do it because I love it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm
that's awesome,
doing
bro.
some. Oh, this is cool. I will send you a set. Can we send it? Can we send a set to David? You think?
I don't know what you're talking about, but sure. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
Of
tactical
no,
the
chili.
Kentucky
absolutely, yeah,
Yo, of
yeah.
course,
tactical
man.
chili,
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
and
of course, man. That's
and
awesome.
and what we are going to give it also to David is this ones.
Oh, this is tactical chili dice. A little chili on
The
Yes,
chili dice.
yes,
That's great.
chili dice.
Yo,
So we are
thanks, man.
going to
Appreciate it,
send you
man.
a
Yep,
set of those with Charlie.
Yeah,
yeah.
awesome.
He's the mule.
Don't
He's the mule.
don't test them in the toilet.
No, no, they roll very good, man. They roll
Oh,
very hot.
that's all I need, mate.
Yeah,
No, thank you, bro.
yeah.
Appreciate
For
it.
those. No
I mean, I
worries.
think
No, thank you.
that's one of the cool things about New Zealand. Obviously have the number 8 wire kind of mentality, right? Like if you can help out, help out. So it shouldn't be lost. Like guys like yourself putting in the effort, helping out the team and stuff like that is really cool. And that's the beginning.
Yeah,
That's the grassroots of the community, right? Started
Yeah,
last year, and more people involved this
as
year and
one of
stuff like that.
the things that I love from New Zealand, mate.
Mm,
I come from Chile, big country. Well,
mm.
numbers compared with this, we have 50 million people more, and everybody's the community was good. I love my community. We have a club and everything, but um, people, I started the same business over there,
Mm,
and people, the only thing I was asking, oh, that's very expensive. Well, can you do a discount, or why you cannot do it cheaper?
mm.
Because this is the value of my time. It's like I put all this effort on this. I'm not also charging really expensive stuff. I'm just doing because I like it and I know that it's useful.
Mm.
But in here, it's different. People, there's like, oh, this is New Zealand product, or it's made here, let's buy it. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. I support your whatever you're doing. So when I saw that, it's like, well, I need to do the same. And our Finn asked me, can you support with something? It's like, this is what I can do. What do you think? Love it. Please do it. So
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
That's so awesome, man. And that's kind of the ethos of Team New Zealand, I think, in a lot of ways. If you can help out,
yeah,
try and help out, right? Whether
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
player or a coach or whatever, it's like that, which is there we
Well,
go.
I've been doing this. We have been doing the sparring with Charlie.
Oh yeah, Patricia's come to some of the practice weekends
Oh, awesome too.
with his
Nice.
Wolf Gel. I think Patricia, you're one of the only Wolf Gel players in New Zealand
Yeah, I think so.
that I've seen. Yeah, so when we saw some of the lists come out, we're like, we should probably test some of this.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. The Poland jail, as I call it, it looks very nice, man. Very nice.
Yeah, he's
Awesome.
enjoying that list.
So,
All right, we
thank
won't
you,
keep you any
David, again.
longer.
Well, not
Yeah,
yes,
thank you
you
very
can go
much.
to the family.
No
Thank you very
worries.
much again.
Absolutely,
Uh,
my pleasure. We'll have a recap
David,
afterwards, after WTC, hopefully.
yeah, no,
Yes,
100%.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
what we are going to do. And
Yep.
I will have Charlie doing some live streaming over there.
Yo,
So
let's go.
we will try to. The idea of this is also we are trying to bring the experience so people can follow live from here. So yeah,
Yep.
we will see how it goes.
Nice. Tune into Chilli.
Thank you, David.
Chilli Talk Tactics.
Yes,
yeah. Oh,
Chile.
did you want to give a shout out to your podcast, Dave?
Oh yeah.
Before I
I'm
forget.
Yes.
40k fireside. Yeah, so yeah, sure.
Oh, come on, man.
You could do
That's
better
fine.
than that.
I've been around long enough.
Yeah.
It's all right. I would rather support you guys, man. Subscribe and like to this channel, man. If you want to follow the WTC, follow on these guys. Like they're traveling all the way across the world to bring you guys content. Get involved with them, talk with them, get involved with WTC. It's one of the best things you can actually put your time and effort into outside of other important things in life. If you want to have a great hobby and a great community where you're going to make friends, travel across the world together, make memories that'll last a lifetime, get involved in WTC, get involved in Warhammer, and chat with the guys on this podcast as well.
Thank you, David.
There you go.
Fantastic. Didn't even
Signing
need a
off.
script.
Yeah, excellent.
Awesome.
Awesome, guys.
Take care,
Stay
mate.
spicy, David, eh?
Stay spicy.
Stay spicy.
Stay spicy, man.
See you guys.
Yeah. Okay, welcome back. I hope you had enjoyed the interview. I think um, David was very keen to um, share all his knowledge and all this information. I think you could realize that he is very versed on this. He pretty much lead the whole conversation. We actually didn't have to go through the questions because he was covering while we were talking, which was amazing. We-
Yeah, that was fantastic. Learned quite a few things about running a show. And I just found it amazing, like how he talked about his early days of playing, growing up in the Waikato, just things that we don't normally see about some of the top international
yeah,
players, right?
another wake out of
They
player.
started in the same place as
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Probably bought models at the same shop as
Yeah,
you.
probably. But yes, it is. He actually, yeah, you can see he knows his stuff. But by the way that he talks about the competition and the competitive scene in UK, it is really I think is one intimidating because 250 players per tournament at a slots, but also it's really cool. Like you have all this pool of players that goes normally there, plus the people that goes, um, is that they are not the regulars, which is I think is quite cool.
Yeah. I mean, when 200 players is kind of the minimum tournament you go to, it changes the perspective, right? Um, yeah, it's so cool. So I'm going to in a week's time. I'm going to be at my first super major. It's 500 players at War Masters in Belgium. I just hope I find the tables on time and don't
Yeah, yeah,
the stage. 500 players, 250 tables, right? I'm on table 300,
yeah,
212.
yeah.
Where is it? I don't know.
I, I,
The hall was massive.
I don't
So
know.
yeah, the venue is a giant aircraft
I
hangar.
know.
Yeah,
I don't know how you're going to do it because you need to be on the streaming and playing, man. I don't know.
and drinking. Don't forget
Oh,
the drinking.
drinking too.
There is a bar on site, so really looking forward to that.
Oof, that will be massive. You will be wearing
Yeah.
tactical Chili colors over there.
Well, I mean, only if I win.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Um, but yeah, this interview really cool. I think people will enjoy it at home to, yeah, again, as I said, knowing David and who is David um, in the competitive scene. If you love
Yeah.
Warhammer the way that we love, you are a competitive player. This guy has been there, LVO, all the super majors. I think he have done it all at this stage, eh?
Yep. And it's not just attending; he's won, I think, 2 or 3 of them as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
in the UK. Yeah. So very
I
impressive
remember
stuff.
2002 or something like that, 2001. I saw David in the top 8 on LVO, something like that. Could
2002.
Oh, sorry, 22. Sorry.
I think 22 or 23. He was top 5 ITC going into the LVO.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I saw a post somewhere. I think it was, uh, yeah, talking about David was in the top 10 of that year LVO, but could be
Yeah.
wrong. I'm not sure, but it is quite, yeah.
I don't remember, man. That was edition, and that felt
Yeah, true. That was a lifetime ago. But yeah,
yeah.
as always, a little bit about what's going on in the wargaming around New Zealand. Well, uh, we know that there is a tournament on the 3rd of August and Hobby Master. Um, that is happening this weekend, so still open
No, just
for.
say that again. You just lagged out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. There is a
Yep.
tournament on the 3rd of August in Hobby Master. Um, that one is still, I think they still are receiving, entries. There is,
Sign-ups. Yep.
yeah, signups, sorry, yep. There is a Teams event running by ACG on the weekend of the 18th of August, I think. That's when you come back,
Yep.
yeah?
I literally land the morning of the 18th, and I thought about going, but then I
Nah.
actually like being married, so probably not.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. So the 18 is a Teams event. Pretty sure still there is a couple of spots open. So go into VCP and get if you are keen. It's a 4-man teams. They are running with WTC rules. I don't know about terrain, but they are running the WTC rule sets. So there is a little bit of the pairings and the tricks about the rules that
Yep.
don't apply regularly to GW. Um, we are running.
Tiger Shark.
Eh?
Just don't bring a Tiger
Oh,
Shark.
Tiger Shark. No. Don't bring a Tiger
Because
Shark. That's useless.
WTC rules, Tiger Shark coming on the table turn 1, you can't shoot it. Well, not turn 1. The first turn it comes on, you can't shoot.
Yes,
You have to
they
rapid
can
ingress.
shoot.
Yeah.
We have our own event going on the 25,
5th?
25th. Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
25th. That is here in uh, Spellbound. So that will be a 1-day WTC terrain and rules. The players pack will be soon up, but you can start signing in the VCP. Um, Rotorua also told me that they have one, but that is in October. So a little bit far away. It's a 2 days event. It's not Lake of Blood. It is run by the Rotorua Wargaming. That is on the 19th and 20th of October. So if you are keen, guys, that is a good, I will say, is a good chance to go there. Take a long weekend, maybe take a couple of days off of work and stay over there in Roto Vegas. Enjoy the pools, the spa, and play some Warhammer. I think that is
Sounds
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. So yeah, if you want some of that action, jump in VCP, sign in, and go there. Let's have some fun. What else? What else, Charlie? I'm forgetting anything?
There's Wellington Teams that is going on
Yes.
in August as well. Although I think that one is actually full, but
Yeah, that is.
check it out. Yeah, have a look at the matchups, and that one should be an interesting one.
Yes, that is fully booked because we were trying. Well, not we, but Ryan was trying to put a team, and they called me if I wanted to be America on the team. I was quite keen. I got the authorization from the boss. I think it's 13 of that is the 13th of August actually. I
Yeah,
got
mid.
I
Yeah,
got all the chicks by the miss, the wife, but yeah, no spots available. But yeah, and that's I think is all the things that are happening around there. We are going to be doing three more events a part of this one. We're going to be announcing with time this time. With so there's coming good stuff. Some probably doubles, some spicy things. I guess.
sounds good.
Cool. Well, as always, thank you for staying with us. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode the same way that we enjoy. If you have not subscribed to the channel, click subscribe, like, follow us. We will be doing a little bit of giveaway soon, probably after Charlie comes back from um, Belgium. We have some dice, cool dice from Tactical Chilli, some objective markers. So we will be doing a couple of giveaways for you guys. Um, and the idea is that, yeah, if you're enjoying the content, you also can promote us so we can keep going and keep doing more of this. Cool?
Yeah, I just had an idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring back some WTC merchandise, and we can give some of that away.
Ooh, that will be cool. Yeah, see?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Spot prize, or tune in and listen and get randomly drawn.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just pick from subscribers, I guess.
Yeah, subscribers are the ones that will have the chance to win. So start following us now, so you don't miss those good stuff. Cool. That is a good idea, Charlie. Good one. Well, that's all. Thank you for staying, Charlie. Stay spicy.
Stay spicy.
Yes, man.
Oh my god.
That will catch at the end. Will stick. Don't worry.
Yeah, we got it free from
Yeah,
Michael.
we got it free from
Excellent.
Michael. Thank you, Michael. Okay, see you, my friend.
Cool.
Have a good
Thanks
one. See
everyone.
you, everybody. Bye.
Ciao.